Thursday Night Tailgate, where the spotlight is always on the positive. Tune in Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time to hear your favorite NFL legends, players, and coaches sharing their stories. Now back to Chris and Bob.
I wouldn't joke about anything else that happens here tonight.
All right, now back with us here on Thursday Night Tailgate is Susan Lulgjuraj. Let me remind you about Susan's background. She earned her Bachelor of Arts degree from Mount St. Vincent College. She was a sports reporter and handled social media for the Press of Atlantic City. She moved on from there to be managing editor for Beckett Media. She then became the sports editor for Topps. She is currently their marketing communications manager, and we're very excited that she is back with us again tonight here on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Susan, Chris, and Bob, thanks for coming back on the show.
Hi, Susan.
Hey there. Thanks for having me.
So, Susan, before we get into talking about all the cards and the great things that you guys are doing over at Topps, just a little baseball talk before we get into card collecting. And I know you're a big Yankees fan. I'm curious to get your thoughts and your feelings on the Yankees letting Joe Girardi go, and what Bob and I thought was a season that they way overachieved, and then your boy Aaron Judge and the excitement that he's brought not only to the Yankees and to New York, but to card collecting as well.
Yeah, I mean, I could say from a Yankee standpoint, everything that happened this season was a surprise. From Aaron Judge just coming on the way he did and performing not just well. I mean, you're talking about literally a record-setting season, to then them making the ALCS and going to a Game 7, and then Joe Girardi being let go. I think it was one of the most surprising seasons I've ever witnessed as a Yankees fan.
And Susan, when you think about card collecting and rookie cards and that sort of thing, when you got a guy like Aaron Judge, in New York, you got Cody Bellinger with the Dodgers in LA, obviously. As Bob and I as Red Sox fans, Andrew Benitendi having a nice season as well. You've got three great young players and three of the biggest cities obviously in the country. When you've got that sort of excitement and rookie cards and rookie guys coming out playing that well, what does that do for card sales, over the course of this year?
Whenever you think of, the baseball card to collect, or the player you want his cards, you always think about the rookie card. I want his rookie card. So when Aaron Judge is, hitting moonshots and home runs, one of the questions we're getting, where can I get his rookie card? And that was the number one question. Cody Bellinger came up a little later, so his first rookie card actually didn't come out till a little later in the season. So everybody kept asking, when are we going to see his first rookie card? And then the same thing with Benitendi. Everybody wanted to hit their rookie card. So when there's such a popular player, it goes beyond just these hardcore collectors. It transcends to sports fans. Sports fans understand, because they grew up collecting baseball cards, and now I want to collect the rookie card of the new guy, my new favorite player. And it really was an exciting year for that. We had we made so many fun products, and it really brought a lot of people back into collecting who maybe collected when they were kids, took a break when they're in high school and college, and now that they have kids of their own, we're able to find a way to connect with their kids, because who doesn't want an Aaron Judge rookie card? It doesn't matter if you're a Yankee fan or not, too, in this case, because he was just so popular and everybody just absolutely loves him.
And to your point, Susan, you're talking about fun products. You guys came out with so many cool sets this year. The looks and the designs of the cards this year were absolutely fantastic. From not only for the new things that you did, but the flashback, to some earlier designs that you did that were outstanding. What were some of your favorite sets from this year?
Yeah, as somebody who loves baseball cards and the history of cards, Topps Heritage is a favorite. If Topps Heritage features designs that were used 50 years ago. So this year in 2017, the 1968 Topps baseball design was used with current players. And you remember 68 with being the sort of burlap set where it had the Nolan Ryan rookie card. And that was a really fun product because you get to get that nostalgia piece, but then also, collecting cards of your favorite players. And second was probably Series 1 baseball, because the best part about Series 1 baseball is it's been a long winter, it's cold outside, and Series 1 baseball hits the shelves, and it reminds you baseball is right around the corner. It comes out about 2 weeks before pitchers and catchers report. So you just even though it might be so on the ground, you get a little warmth, going through you, reminding you like baseball is coming.
Bob, questions for Susan?
Yeah, it's great to speak with you, Susan, again. And I wanted to, Chris gave a little bit of your background. It was just my question as far as how you got into the business. When you started college, Susan, if you had a marketing desire, did you ever think you would be working for such a famous company? And was it on your list of kind of ideal jobs when you started looking?
No, my job ever since I was probably in high school, my goal was to be a sports writer, sports reporter, covering baseball. And I did that. I did that for 15 years. I went to college for school for journalism, and then I worked at the Journal News, which is in New York, and then I was at the Press of Atlantic City for 8 years. And that was an amazing experience because I got to do I covered the Phillies during their championship run. And then also the next year when they won, the NLCS and then played the Yankees in the World Series. So I got to watch the Yankees win the World Series for work, which for me, at the time you're working, you're writing your story, and then the game is over, and suddenly I got a chance to sit there and be like, oh, that just happened. That just happened. And it was really, it was such a cool experience to be a part of. And then I worked for Beckett for a couple of years. And when I went to go work at Topps, it still wasn't a marketing role. My job at Topps was actually much more closely aligned to actually what I did in journalism. There was picking photos, looking through photos, picking the photos that would appear on cards. It was reading text on the back to edit them to make sure, any factual errors, we could find and fix, and, making sure, everything was in proper English, so to speak. So it was much more aligned to what I was doing in my previous role. However, what we did was Topps said, you do a pretty good job of what you're doing, and, what else? What else can we do? So expanding my role, doing more social media for Topps, because I was also doing that on my other jobs. But I also love to write, obviously. So what I wanted was let's create a blog, let's put some together, let's get out there a little bit more. So that I've been able to use a lot of my past experiences as a journalist in my role I'm doing now. It just happens to fall under marketing.
Mm-hmm. And back to the cards themselves, Susan. Chris mentioned rookie cards, and obviously they're very, very popular. I'm thinking about Hall of Famers, and at different parts of their career. Say I had a Hall of Famer from their third year in the league to their last year in the league. Is there any kind of difference in the value of cards of a Hall of Famer as opposed to a beginning or the end of a career, or they're pretty much all valuable because it's a Hall of Famer?
So it depends. That's always going to be the answer. It always depends. But the rookie card is always going to be the most valuable card because it's the only time you're ever going to have their first card. So the rookie card will always be the most valuable because it is the most popular. But because of the way cards are made now, it's not just a baseball card like in a product. Now you can find cards that are signed by the players. So you can get autographed cards of the players. And, depending on the player, whether it's Derek Jeter, if he signed this card in, 1998, or he even signed it now that he's retired, it's going to be an extremely valuable card because what is valuable to the people is the fact that Derek Jeter signed this card. So you're talking about just the base cards, the first card, the rookie card will always be the most popular and the most valuable. But then it depends, is there an autograph on the card, or is there a piece of jersey in the card? How rare is the card? Because not all cards are printed to the same quantity because there's different parallels in the product as well. So you can have a card that literally one of that card exists in the entire world, and you would own it, and it would be an extremely valuable card. Yeah, cards are really different from when, I was just saying, cards are different now from if you collected back in the 80s, it's very different from how it was back then. Back in the 80s, you got your packs of cards, and everything was cardboard cards. You still make those now, but it's so different because there are autograph cards, and cards with pieces of jerseys inside of them. And then there's cards printed on wood or printed on acetate. You know, there's so many different things going on that you can open like a different pack every week and see something different.
And Susan, one of the other things as I was looking around on Topps.com earlier today, you guys are doing a Star Wars countdown to Episode 8, offering a new card every day for that movie. When did Topps start getting involved with the Star Wars series?
So Topps has been making Star Wars cards since 1977. We're actually the longest running like licensee of Star Wars. You know, Topps has been doing it like since 1977, the very first movie, and they've created cards over the years. And, you know, obviously the last couple of years have been exciting because of the new movies. And the countdown to Episode 8 cards that we have on Topps.com right now are really cool because it goes along with this print-on-demand thing that Topps has started last year. So last year we created the Topps Now program, which takes the best moments of the game from the night before, and Topps will make a card that's only available for 24 hours on Topps.com. You can't get it anywhere else but Topps.com. And however many are sold, that's how many get printed. And so the same format is being used in the countdown to Episode 8. So the Star Wars set, for every weekday up until the release of the movie, Topps will release a new card that includes actually an image that hasn't been seen yet. So it's actually new images too. So if you want, like, you know, I want to see what, you know, Finn looks like in the new movie, you'll get to see that image on one of these cards. But they're only available for 24 hours.
And Susan, you know, I saw with the 2017 Heritage Minor League Baseball set that each box contains 2 chances to make your pro debut with the Fresno Grizzlies. So, you know, first of all, what was that about? And is that something that might be available again in 2018?
Yeah, it's actually something Topps has done for a couple of years now, where in Heritage Minor League, there's those 2 cards. You scratch off the code and you enter your code online, and if you're sort of like, it's a winning card, it'll move you to the next round where you do like an essay as to why you should make your pro debut. And it's really a lot of fun. Like the first time, I think, was about 5 years ago, the first time the program happened, and I think it was with the Ripken family, like their minor league team, the Ironbirds, and what you did is you get signed by this minor league team for a day. You get to wear the uniform, you get your space in the locker room with all the guys on the team, you get to take BP and do some fielding practice, sit in the dugout during the game. For one of the innings, you'll go upstairs and like talk on the radio booth, and it's really cool. It's really a lot of fun. Like, I think the Ironbirds were involved. Or maybe it was the Delmarva. Maybe it was Delmarva Shorebirds. It was the team it was. But one year was one of the teams that Nolan Ryan was involved in. So the person who won that year got to hang out with Nolan Ryan for part of the game. And it's really a lot of fun because you get to get this experience like you're one of the players. The only thing you don't get to do is play in the actual game. However, you literally do everything else that day that the players would do.
So
and you
Susan,
get your own
can you give
baseball
us a
card.
peek?
Can't forget that part. Sorry, I was like,
yeah,
you get your own baseball card. Yeah, at Topps Pro Debut, you get your own baseball card, and that's also obviously
awesome.
One of the exciting parts.
So Susan, can you give us a peek under the tent? What are you guys thinking about, you know, for 2018? What are some of the things we can look forward to when the 2018 sets start coming out?
Yeah, so January 31st is the big day. That's the day that Topps Baseball Series 1 hits the shelves, and that's, you know, you get that at your local hobby shop, Target and Walmart. That's sort of the day that, you know, we all have circled in red on our calendar because it's really a lot of fun. Like, it's a holiday in the Topps office, pretty much. Like, everybody's celebrating. We're all opening packs of cards and having fun, and, you know, it's fun for the collectors too because, like I said, it's just a reminder that baseball is so close at that point. And that comes out January 31st. And then after that, we have our Heritage product, where next year we'll feature the 1969 Topps designs, and we'll have Gypsy Queen. And Gypsy Queen is a throwback to a sort of retro-inspired designs. You know, they're original designs, but they're inspired by, like, the old tobacco cards. That's like I'm trying to think. That's early in the calendar year, and then of course we're going to have our Bowman product in April, which it features the up and coming prospects, all like the Aaron Judges before they become Aaron Judge and that kind of stuff. And we're going to do a lot of the same things that we did last year, but just tweak them slightly so that they're really fresh and they'll feel really exciting for 2018.
Well, I gotta tell you, Susan. As you mentioned, at the top, it's getting card collecting coming back, and getting your sons and daughters and the younger baseball fans involved. And since we first had you on the show, really been getting my son involved in card collecting, and that's been something that we've enjoyed sharing together. And we got several boxes, and I'm happy to say that I got 2 Topps online redemption cards in a couple of packs. One is a high-tech autograph parallel of Aaron Judge, so I'm sure I'll be casing that one and keeping that one forever. And the other is a triple threat Unity autograph jumbo relic card of Andrew Benitendi. So I'm very excited to get both of those 2 cards, and my son's kind of anticipating. We went online and registered for those, so we're waiting for those to come in the mail. But that's going to be an exciting day for us when those 2 cards arrive. So we're very much looking forward to that. Susan, before we let you go, let our listeners know, how can they keep up to date with all the great things that you and everybody there at Topps are doing, whether it's online or over social media?
Yeah, make sure you follow Topps on social media, because this is actually exciting. Starting next week on our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, they're all at Topps, we're going to start 20 days of giveaways. So we are going to be giving away everything that I have on my desk, which if you've ever seen my desk at work, there's a lot of stuff there, boxes and cards. We are giving them away on our social channels. We're talking autograph cards, hobby boxes, and not just baseball, Star Wars, Doctor Who, The Walking Dead, wrestling, Garbage Pail Kids. We are giving it away starting next week on our social channels. So it's 20 days of giveaways. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Topps. And try enter to win the contest, and then also have a little fun and get some information on our Topps cards too.
That's fantastic stuff, Susan. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's never enough time when we have you on the show to kind of get through, I think, all the things that Bob and I would love to ask you. We hope you'll come back and do it again soon. Keep us up to date with all the great things you guys are doing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime. All right, Susan, take care. All the best to you and your family. Like I say, hopefully we get the privilege of having you back on the show again soon. In between now and then, I hope you have a great holiday season.
Oh, thanks so much. You too.
Take care.
All right, take care. That is Susan Lulgjuraj, and Bob. If you haven't been on Topps.com, and I'm sure you did, for research here for the show, but the sets that they have this year, and the designs that they have, and the things that are in there, absolutely spectacular stuff. And to her point, now the opportunity to get these autograph cards, and goodness knows, an autograph Aaron Judge. I'm hoping, Bob, for my son's sake, 30 or 40 years from now, it's like having a autograph Mickey Mantle card that can put my grandson or granddaughter through college by having these things and keeping them protected. But a lot of great stuff at Topps.com.
It is, because what a business change too. I mean, think about 40 years ago when you and I were collecting. All we had was the excitement of opening a pack and see what was in there. Right now, you get to pick. Basically, you pick what you want. But you and I just open it up and hoped, And if we didn't get what we want, we still had bubble gum, right? So what a difference in the business. And and like I told you and Susan in the past, my mom threw them all out, Chris.
I can't believe it when you tell that story. That's painful, Bob. To think what is in a landfill somewhere that's probably all decayed and rotten by this point, but God knows what could have been
many
in
moons
there.
ago. You're right. Oh, what can you do?
Right. All right, we've got our next guest, Tony Collins. We'll get to Tony on the other side of this quick station break.